Hello, Watertown. I'm Matt McCarthy, the Family Engagement and Communication Strategist for Watertown Public Schools. And we are here at WCA-TV in their beautiful new podcast studio. And I'm here with the chair of the Watertown School Committee, Kendra Foley, for a quick 10-minute update on everything going on with the Watertown School Committee. Kendra, it's good to be here. This is the second one of these discussions that we've done. The first one was really fun, and I'm glad to be doing it again with you.
Likewise. Thanks, Matt.
So it's been a busy month or so for the school committee since we last met. You've had 2 meetings, and there's so much to get into. These were 2 kind of jam-packed meetings, and what we want to do is we want to take everything that happened and condense it into kind of a 10-minute digestible format for folks to stay updated with what's going on with the school committee. I think where I'd like to start was all the celebrations and the recognitions of some great things that have happened over the last few months. And it was a jam-packed school committee meeting earlier this week where you got to recognize Liz Shore, the music teacher at the Cunniff School. You got to recognize the Watertown Raiders field hockey team and Coach Eileen Donahue for just some incredible accomplishments. What did folks miss? And what do folks need to know about some of the great happenings, particularly with those 2 recognitions?
Yeah, no, it's such a great way to start our meetings, to be able to honor and recognize some of the really amazing things that are happening in our schools. So Liz Shore is at the Cunniff, and she's the music teacher. And she was honored as the Massachusetts Down Syndrome Congress Educator of the Year. So we're really proud of the work she's doing in making sure that our schools are welcoming and inclusive for all kids. And that work is really important, and it's throughout our district. So she is just representing Watertown so beautifully. We're so proud and appreciative of her work. And she also brought in the 2nd and 3rd graders from the Cunniff Choir.
It was great.
If we could start every meeting listening to our students singing, I think it would just be a beautiful thing. It was fabulous. So that was just a great way to start the meeting. They got to showcase their wonderful work. We had lots of parents in the room. It was great.
And also the Raiders, the field hockey, the state champs again. Coach Donahue was there, recognized for being the MIAA Coach of the Year. It's become an annual tradition. You bring the field hockey team, you celebrate them. It was another great moment.
It was exciting. So Eileen Donahue, has been the coach in Watertown for 39 years. This is her 22nd state championship she has led her team to, which is nothing short of phenomenal. So we're so proud of her. She was awarded the MIAA Coach of the Year. We're so happy that she is part of this Watertown community, and she has been for such a long time, and she's built such an incredible tradition of student athletes. And the Watertown field hockey team won it again, 4 in a row, 22 overall, and they came in and were honored again. And I said at the meeting, and I would say it again, they make it look easy, but it's not. The work they put in, the time they put in, the effort they put in, the preparation, it's incredible. So they deserve it. I'm so proud of them and proud of our program here.
Yeah, and if you were at the game against Sandwich, the state championship game, and it was talked about a lot at the meeting on Monday, that was the ultimate example of coaching, strategy, leadership, organization, teamwork. I mean, that was really on display, perhaps more so in any of the games I've seen the Raiders play, and it's a lot at this point. Perhaps it was more so on display in that game than any other one I've seen.
It was great to watch and great to see the adjustments our team had to make, the adjustments the coach had to make, and then the way they made them so successfully. So it was really wonderful to be part of that.
So many recognitions over the last month, and that was it was great to be a part of. A lot going on at the city level, a lot going on at the school committee level, particularly with building for the future. First and foremost, just a quick update on the high school. It sounds like progress is there's still a lot of progress being made there.
I mean, if you're like me and you like to drive past it a number of times a day to check on progress, you'll see the windows are going in. It's going to be airtight by the end of December. So it's really exciting to see the progress being made. They're going to be indoors starting in January doing the work. So we're thrilled and so appreciative of the partners we have in this work.
Now, the middle school, that's, more at the city level right now, but there was a big vote the city council took a few weeks ago to prioritize the Watertown Middle School as the number one capital project for the city moving forward. What do folks need to know about this? I know there's a feasibility study going on. Um, Seems like there are steps being taken towards a building project at the middle school.
Yeah, so what happened is the city council voted to put the middle school at the top of their capital projects list. And this is important. And it's another example of how the city council has really been valuing the educational facilities for our students, our families, for our teachers, and all of our staff there. So it's amazing, and so we're so grateful that they have valued it in this same way. It's early stages. So they're going to do a feasibility study looking at, there's two different sections of the middle school if you've ever been there.
Right.
There's a 1998 section, which is much newer. They're going to do looking at a renovation of that section. And there's a 1922 section, and it would be a brand new building of that section. So it's like a two-part. We need to make sure it would come in the budget that the city could afford, because this is on the capital side, and it impacts the debt. And so we're waiting on that. It should be a couple of weeks. But again, we're really grateful to the city for their continued partnership, and we'll see what comes from the feasibility study.
Real quick on the feasibility study, what types of things is that study going to look at? You mentioned cost, of course, first and foremost. What other types of elements will that study evaluate?
I mean, it's going to look at what can be done. So they have already looked at a few different options, really preliminarily, around you take the whole building out and you build it new. What if you kept the 1998 version and just renovated it, and then did like a gut renovation of that, and then did a whole new version of the 1922. So they'll take a look at what's possible in that space. And the benefit, there's lots of benefits to it, and is certainly a need. But the timing is really critical right now, because we have the swing space that the high school is using. So our middle school could go into that swing space for 15 to 18 months, and this project could be done in that time. So it would just be smart and thoughtful planning in terms of doing these projects in a timely manner. And we just wouldn't have this kind of opportunity in the future. Those modulars, when they're gone, they're gone. And it'd be a lot harder to do a project like this. So again, this is just thoughtful long-term planning on behalf of the city council.
From the outside looking in, it is pretty remarkable to look at a city that wants to redo all of its school buildings in less than 10 years.
I mean, it is amazing. There are no communities that have been able to do this. And, we have an amazing city manager now in George Proakis. And for 30 years, we had Mike Driscoll, who was also really incredible and thoughtful in how he planned investments in the future. And it's because of work that happened 10, 15 years ago that's given Watertown the opportunity, with the growth we've seen, to make really strategic investments in our educational system. And I just can't be more proud and grateful that we've been able to do this work.
Speaking of projects, Victory Field has been a discussion at the last couple of school committee meetings. You took a vote to put forward some recommendations to the city council about Victory Field. I know Victory Field falls under the purview of the city council, but not the school committee. But if you could just explain, what that vote was about, what that discussion was about, and what type of recommendations the school committee is making to the city council about projects at Victory moving forward.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And like you said, Victory Field and all of our fields are managed by the city. Victory Field in particular has been used by the athletic department and by the schools as the primary field for our high school and middle school athletics for a very, very long time. So we have a real stake in what happens with Victory Field Phase 2. So there was a community meeting in early November talking about the project. There's been a decade of discussion about this project at this point. So there are some recommendations that came from the district to the school committee at the last meeting, and we are moving them forward to the city council for them to consider. Again, it's their decision, but these are recommendations around safety, around having some netting in the back behind the nets in the field, so that when the track team is playing at the same time as the soccer team, no one gets injured. It's around having a defibrillator in an outside space. Right now, it's inside the field house. So if you don't have a key and there's an emergency, you can't get in there. It's about maintenance. We've been talking a long time about how we maintain our grass fields, and candidly, they haven't been maintained at the level that we need in order to use them successfully. And so there has to be some investment in some of that maintenance. Little things like storage units and where they are, so that our programs can use them effectively. So those are the kind of things. We have a list of recommendations, and they have gone forward to the city council. But again, like, the city council gets to make those decisions. We are making recommendations, and we really hope they'll consider them.
At a more active level, the school committee level, it's negotiation season. You've recently started negotiations with the WEA. I know it's very early stages, but what does the public need to know about those discussions?
Yeah. The contract's not up until July 1st of 2025. But we and the WEA really started conversations over this summer informally to set some ground rules and set a timeline, because we jointly want a smooth process. And we're on the same page with the WEA about having a smooth process that moves as quickly as it can, that is very productive. We have a really good relationship with our union, and we really value that relationship. So we wanted to make sure, and they wanted to make sure, we start early and that we set a schedule, which we've done. And we started formal meetings in November of this year, and they've been going well so far, and we expect them to continue that way.
And before I let you go, I need to ask you about a presentation that was made by the Hosmer School team, which I know you in particular loved, and everybody loved. What was this presentation all about? And we'll put the link out there so folks can see it. But it was just great, Kendra. It really was.
I mean, I don't often cry in public, but this presentation really did bring me to tears for lots of reasons. But so the Hosmer Elementary School, some of their staff came and gave us a presentation on the Buddy program. And this is matching up older elementary school students with younger elementary school students throughout the year, and they do things together. And we talk a lot about in our schools the importance of all of our students finding that trusted adult, and having a trusted student is just as important. And having people that a fifth grader that a kindergartner can look up to, or a fourth grader that can look out for a first grader. Those relationships are special. And it was really nice to hear about the importance of the program, to hear the teachers talk about it, and get some feedback from students. They had some videos of students talking about the impact it made with them. So these are important pieces of our public education, and I really value them, and it was beautiful.
There was a quote from one of the students at the Hosmer talking about being a buddy that really stuck with me. He said, quote, "Being a big buddy is like being a role model. You have to help them with things that they don't know how to do yet." It was just a beautiful presentation. It really was. And everybody loved it. So we'll make sure to get that link out there and make sure folks can check that out, because it was a great moment. It was one of the highlights, certainly, of the last month.
Absolutely.
Kendra, how can people get in touch with you if they have questions about what's going on with the school committee, about anything, from presentations you've heard to class size reports to, middle school and high school projects to Victory Field? Like, how can folks get in touch with you?
People are always welcome to email me at kendra.foley@watertown.k12.ma.us. We have information on our website, which is a newly revamped website, thanks to your work, Matt, where you can always look at updates we send out. You can look at agendas. So feel free to take a look at that, but always reach out if there's any questions or things we can help with.
Yeah, make sure to check out the new Watertown Public Schools website, watertown.k12.ma.us. It's only taken me about 3 years to figure out how to spit that one out, but watertown.k12.ma.us. You can check us out, of course, on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, you name it. And of course, come in and check out this brand new amazing podcast studio at WCA-TV. It's open to the public. They'll teach you how to use it for any project that you might have. And we certainly are enjoying doing these conversations. Kendra, why don't we meet up again in January? Hope you have a great holiday, and we'll let folks know what's going on in January a little bit later on.
Sounds great. And happy holidays to the community. Have a safe and restful holiday.